Good evening. Welcome to Friday Night Live with Matches 860. Oh, let's see, we got nobody in yet. We'll wait a minute or two. Let everybody get seated. I was smoking the Friday Sabanelli Dusty Pipe Guy. How you doing? Inverted 311. I think I just found you today. Real McCoy, Piper, Element of Darkness. Yeah, almost first there, Dusty Pipe Guy. Yeah, so I was smoking the Friday Sabanelli. But we're going to switch to the 626 Churchwarden, which you might recall I busted and epoxied back together. Hello, Pirate Frog, Derek Nickel, Ohio Piper, Pipin' Spirits, how you doing? Kenwood 8029, smoking Big and Burley. I got a little story about Big and Burley there. Ken Masters, Hassan hello. Law and Smoke, how are you, buddy? Phil Rivara, hey, I'm using my official Phil Rivara Zippo this evening and always. Canadian Piper 604, good evening to you, sir. I hope it's a sir. All right, let's see here. We'll get this baby fired up. Desert Piper, good evening. Oh, before I forget, we want to wish happy birthday to Doug Owen out at Cargo Hold in Washington. Today's his birthday. Saw it on Facebook. Happy birthday, Doug. Bear with me, I'm unprepared. Olberg, LA Pipe Smoker. Went out this morning. The weather's pretty good. And I was thinking about doing a video. Then realized I had no subject matter. And it just brought home the whole thing with doing live streams, which I mentioned at one point. The great thing about a live stream is that you don't really have to think about it, you just do it. No planning involved, no editing, none of that stuff. It's great. But what you don't have is the planning of a video, and I've gotten out of the habit of planning for videos, so I have nothing. I have my work history, which I'd like to get started, but every time I'm going to start that, it's like, nah, I'm not ready for that yet. So I have nothing else in the pipeline. And I went out and, of course, came back empty-handed. Oh, by the way, in the 626, we're smoking Constellation from Cornell and Deal. No snow here, Diesel Driver 76. Hopefully we're done with it. In fact, there's almost nothing on the ground. Good evening from Strasbourg. Eric, blue collar pipe smoker. He's a married man now. Poor guy. The Man of York, I just found you today. Got a kick out of your channel, and thanks for the shout. Ernesto Gomez. Amsterdam 18. Pipes and Kayaks, how you doing, buddy? So I get a text message from Brad, Pipes and Kayaks, telling me that Smoke and Briar, Mike, had sent me a message. And went and checked my email. There wasn't anything. And finally got around to checking messages in the community section of the video manager under messages or whatever. And not only was there a message from Mike, but there was a bunch of messages going back a month ago, which I never got notification for. So I did write back to Smoke and Briar. If you don't happen to get the message that there is a message, I had suggested that you get a hold of me at matches860@gmail.com. Matches860 is all spelled out. So, what else have we got going on here? Law and Smoke. I had one once. Now I have an old wife. Derek Tant, hey, it was great watching you this morning, and that's the story I wanted to tell about Big and Burly, because you mentioned you didn't care for it, and after your live stream, I had wondered if you had the bulk or the tin Big and Burly. I got a tin from Andrew, Gently Tamped. And when I opened it up, well, he had already opened it, but he taped it back up and it was good to go. But when I smoked it, it was awful. It was terrible. Finally decided that it seemed a little moist. Moister than Cornell and Deal's usual stuff. So I took it out of the tin, put it on a plate for about 2 hours, let it air out and dry out, and made all the difference in the world. It was amazing. So if you get a tin of Big and Burly, I highly suggest you transfer it to a plastic bag, or if you're going to smoke it right away, empty it out onto a plate or something and let it air out. I don't know what's going on with it, but just wasn't as good as when I buy it in bulk. But it's okay now. Smooth Piper, how you doing? And yeah, that was my little Big and Burly story. The constellation here reminds me a lot of Big and Burly. A little more Latakia in it. It's not a Latakia bomb. Very nice. Mystic 860, yes, spring is right around the corner, and we can't wait. Nicholas Cox, how are you? Edgeworth Ready Rub Match is also a great suggestion to try. Oh boy. Nick Sweeney. Worcester, England. So glad you could join us, because I know it's late there. Yeah, so I have a short week coming up. I work Sunday to Thursday, usually. And I have a routine medical test on Tuesday, which is going to take me out of work for the whole day. And then I get paid for Friday, which I'm normally off because it's Good Friday, it's a holiday. which means I have to take another day off, so I'll take Thursday off. Good part of that is I'll have a long weekend next weekend. And if the weather's nice, I'll go out and do a video, I hope. Doing very well, thank you very much. Was that Stribor? Escudo versus Bullseye Flake. There's a lot on lately about those two. Never had a Scudo, or if I did, I don't remember it. And as I say all the time, because of my working situation mainly, I prefer loose tobacco. Yeah, it's her. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Yeah, so I prefer loose tobacco. And I swear, in my retirement, I'm going to move to flakes because we've been through the whole flake plug issue before, where I think the taste of those, when they're in those formats, is you can't beat it. But for carrying it around, I've never had any luck carrying flakes around with me. So, plus, if you want to do it right, there's really more preparation to smoking flakes or dealing with plugs. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on all of that stuff. I just don't. Right now, I got other things to do besides fooling around with flakes and whatnot. Condor. Virginia plug. Actually, I just smoked. This was funny. Do I have it here? Let me see. Yeah, this red Virginia is like 100 years old. And I was craving some Virginia earlier, and I lit it up. And if I didn't know better, I'd say somebody threw a Lakeland in there. I got this blast of floral notes, and was almost afraid it was going to ghost my pipe. But I guess it was just the way the Virginia had aged. And what does Sarge call them? Unicorn farts? Those undescribable, beautiful tastes you get out of a aged tobacco. Dana Whitfield, Anthony Duca. Do I like English? Yes, I do. And I wrote a little piece on Facebook for when I die, so that let's say 20 years after I'm gone, if somebody happens to come across my videos and can't watch them all and they wonder what I smoked, what I liked, I do mention I don't love English, but I do smoke English blends. I'll probably be remembered for Haunted Bookshop and a 673, but I wanted to write this little piece so that people knew that there was more to Matches 860 than just Haunted Bookshop. A tour of my room some night. You know what? I can show you the other end. Well, I can show you some stuff here. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can't switch this around, can I? Yes, I can. Hold on. Bear with me. That's the other end of the room. My refrigerator where I keep all my ginger ale. That's my workbench over there. And this is my junky setup here. You're reading my cheat sheet, and I'm plugged in, And back there was where I used to make videos in the wintertime. Well, I did a couple of them anyway. Oh, gotta spin you back around. Let's see. Let us get back in place here. Matches unplugged. Matches just went nuts. Somebody asked about Mrs. Matches. We had to take her to the emergency room for a test that her doctor ordered after he examined her today. She was there all day. So I had to pick her up about an hour ago, but she's doing well. And I think worst case scenario is that she might have to go on an antibiotic, but we can deal with that. What else? What was I talking about before I got rudely interrupted? Something. 69 in the audience. Has everybody said hi? When are Vinny and I gonna do another video? I was gonna try and get a hold of Vinny to see what he was doing next week, but I'm not exactly sure what my schedule is. I know what it's supposed to be next week, but I got a couple of things that are up in the air. And of course, we never know about Mrs. Matches. But we're going to do it. And hopefully we're going to do it on a day when the weather's really nice, because it's great sitting out on his deck. So weather plays a factor in it as well. And I think once we get past Good Friday, hopefully the threat of snow is gone. Ginger's favorite pipe, haven't tried one. Looking forward to the work history series. That's funny because I keep putting it off because I think it's going to be boring. And yeah, thanks for the comment, because maybe that'll push me along as well. Favorite ginger ale has got to be Canada Dry. I did have some Shasta at work, which very different flavor. It was kind of refreshing. Schweppes gives me stomach aches for some reason. But I will buy Schweppes if I can't get Canada Dry. I don't drink it like I used to drink it. I'm trying to slow down. But anyway. Yeah, my Facebook chipmunk surfaced again. He was out today. Well, thank you very much, Kane Dover. I really enjoy making videos. And I enjoy the planning part, thinking about what I want to use for a backdrop and all of that stuff. And of course, I haven't had that luxury due to the weather. So I need to buckle down and get ready to get back outside again. But as I've said before, Max Wolf, great to see you. I was wondering where you've been. You haven't been on? You haven't made a video for a while? Hope everything's okay with you, sir. Jeff Lowry, thank you very much. Pipes and Kayaks, he's a bachelor tonight. He and I have a running joke about his wife. Glad to hear everything is well, Phil. Let me see, what else have I got to offer? You fine folks. The stupid YouTube messages was a real shocker today, seeing these messages that people had sent me like 3 weeks ago. So definitely feel free to use my email, because I reserved that Gmail account strictly for YouTube. There's a couple of personal things that I now use it for, but that's fine. Canada. Jeffers 58. Good night, Lawn Smoke. You have a good one. Smooth Piper, you must have tuned in late. The Friday Sav is right here. Oh, there's a little story for you. Hold on a minute and let me grab one of my Savinellis. So, this Savinelli here was given to me by a guy at work. Actually, his family gave it to me. But anyway, it's a awesome pipe, and I do like to smoke a pot. Not smoke pot, but smoke a pot. And I was smoking this one day, and this part of the tenon got stuck in the shank. So the stem separated over here, right where this band is, and the other side of this tenon is a wider diameter inside the stem, and that all came out. So last night I got these pieces all pulled apart very carefully and epoxied this end of the tenon back into the stem, let it sit for an hour, and then put some beeswax on the tenon, because it always was tight, and I think I got it so that it won't come apart again. But this has always been a favorite smoker since I've had it. Beautiful pipe. Everybody's wife is calling them. What's going on? Must be a busy night. Yeah, Savinelli pots. I have another one of these. It's the unfinished version. It's smooth. And I love smoking that pipe. That's my Sunday Savinelli. Little fun thing about that. So, been trying to taste tobacco for months. It all tastes the same. Tasting tobacco is, I think it's a lifelong process, because every once in a while I'll, well, for example, the Haunted Bookshop, which I smoke and you'd think I'd know it like the back of my hand. People had mentioned to me that there was a cinnamon side note, which I thought they must have been smoking something else. And one morning on the way to work, sure enough, I'm sitting at a red light and I got this blast of, it was almost like I had a fireball in my mouth. It wasn't, the burning or anything like that. It was just the taste of cinnamon. And I don't know if I just never noticed it before or I don't know. But I think you keep learning as far as the tasting of tobacco goes. And I know that, and I mentioned it to somebody on Facebook or somewhere, that if you do a lot of aromatics, the heavy aromatics, they're not going to help you taste tobacco leaf because your palate is picking up the casing or the topping, and it's covering up the natural leaf. So if you really want to know how to taste tobacco, get some unflavored cube cut burley, some unflavored burley ribbon, some plain straight Virginia. That's the best way to learn, I think. That's pretty much how I learned what the different stuff was. Of course, I had to smoke a whole bowl of Perique to find out what that flavor was, and that nearly killed me. But I learned. So now we got the, haunted bookshop in an old Carter Hall tub. Can't taste the casing or the aromatics. Yeah, that's not good. And I think somebody had that discussion recently that we all taste stuff different. And there have been people on YouTube that have mentioned that they can't taste anything, which I guess it's possible. Yes, I'm drinking ginger ale. But back to the tasting business. I learned after smoking Half and Half and Mixture 79 that I just can't pick up licorice. So everyone says, "Oh, don't you just love that licorice?" And it's like, I don't get it. I think with Mixture 79, somebody mentioned root beer, and I did get that side note at one point. But can't detect licorice. Can I do a longer live chat sometime? I did it New Year's Eve. Worked out well because I had a long story to tell. I don't know, maybe. Ideally, it would be when nobody was home, because then I would be assured of a trouble-free internet, I think. But we'll see. We're up to 109 people watching, which is a very good thing. And I think I have 700 subs to go before I hit 10,000. When I hit 10,000, I'm going to go crazy. Smokin' Briar, how are you? Did you get my message? You just went by. Yeah, if I hit 10,000 subs, we'll have a long live chat. The big 10K, yeah. Rivera has to hop off. His wife isn't calling. Oh my. Yeah, 10,000. Let's hang out for hours. Actually, some Saturday afternoon I'll come on and stay on for a couple hours. Saturday afternoons are my real quiet time, so that might work out. Norwegian fella, how are ya? Gamecock Piper. All right, so we're at half an hour, and I think that's going to do it. 24-hour live stream, I don't think so. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll put something out before next Friday night. Maybe I'll start my work series. Keep your eyes open. I'll go out to Suburban Park and sit on the bench there out in the woods and begin my story, which will go 10 videos, we believe, with maybe some side stories along with it. So anyway, thanks an awful lot for joining me, all of you. Hope you have a great night and a great weekend.